Welcome. I'm the Parliament Raven. Welcome. Pull up a seat, pour yourself a cup of tea. My name's Jason Rodriguez, and I'm the Parliament Raven. And today's episode is yet again dedicated to my friend Josh Simone over at The Torn Curtain. We used to talk about this when we were in seminary, but today's episode is The Lies Behind the Light, Exposing Gnosticism in Today's World. What is Gnosticism, you might ask me? Well, let's see. Gnosticism is an ancient heresy that asked believers to believe that there is a secret knowledge to becoming or to going forward in Christianity. It became really popular from early Christianity around 70 AD, right after the fall of Jerusalem, all the way till the late, I want to say 400s. And it was so bad that John wrote his gospel specifically to fight against it. So where do we find that today? YouTube's videos titled Jesus' Secret Teachings Revealed, or 10 Steps to Casting Out Demons only at this prophet's school, or come and get the keys to the prophetic kingdom and see where God is going through the unveiled knowledge we are receiving with our spiritual gifts here. You get all these wonderful titles and events that make you feel special and that you have some knowledge that other Christians don't. Oh man, there's a problem there. John Crowder, a friend of mine who teaches about the old church teachings, definitely points this out on multiple occasions in his teaching, that Gnosticism today is hidden under the cover of revealed knowledge. So some of the other things that Gnosticism focuses on is that the material world is bad and the spiritual world is good. The God of the Old Testament is evil and the God of the New Testament is not, or is less. Jesus only seemed human. If you hear any of these, turn around and run. And you have a divine spark that needs to be awakened. Yes, you, Harry, are a wizard. No, but seriously, Gnosticism is like that. There's also things that might help you confirm that this is Gnosticism. The Gospel of Thomas, the Illuminati erased the truth from the Bible. Jesus was an alien. The Secrets of the Hidden Vatican. Y-Files, I'm looking at you. The Real Jesus You've Never Heard of. These are popular titles that you can definitely easily find on YouTube, and they definitely will be filled with theoretical or theological garbage. Today we're going to look into that. Let's start by looking at John 1:14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory as the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. John goes out of his way to say Jesus became flesh. He wasn't a ghost or illusion, and this goes to directly destroy Gnosticism. Gnosticism would say that Jesus was made of a better material. He wasn't from here. And Harold Eberly would say that ultimately that far away, that disenfranchised, dislocated, separated God is what leads to atheism, right? When the spiritual realm is a close universe, and we can talk about that another day. I think I touched on it in strings theory, that the spiritual realm and the physical realm are over each other. They're not separate. They're not far away. They exist in the same space. Whether or not you're able to comprehend it, see it, or interact with it depends on a myriad of factors. That's part of the curiosity part of this channel. We can deal with that on another day. Back to Gnosticism, right? The physical world is evil. It's gross. Gnosticism looks to turn into everything that's gone bad with the world into something evil. But that's where they forget Genesis, the book of Genesis, where God said, I have made everything good. And then he looks at it and he says, it is very good. The creator of the universe thinks everything he's created is very good. Does that mean that decay and other such things has not taken into effect since the beginning? We know about the fall of man. We know that death came into existence and things started to decay. And that is where the knowledge of good and evil is where evil kind of enters into the world. And we have this choice, this radical choice of whether to do good or whether to do evil. Whether you're Christian or not, there definitely is this undergirding of knowledge and things in our very DNA of what is good and what is evil. Let's continue on. Gnostic teachings start today is cultish. It's a cult. The reason why I brought up that Harry Potter saying is because people want a place to fit in and believe in a cult. That's a cult's main thing. It's what calls people into it. And believe it or not, studies show that it's the average everyday Joe who's kind of listless that gets sucked into a cult. You would think it's the loner over in the right corner or the guy who's super busy, but it turns out it's people who feel alone. And I know that these younger generations, because of technology and because of lack of identity, because they're continually being shown what it is, what identity is, instead of developing their own identity, are really susceptible to these kinds of teachings and knowledge. They want to be a part of something greater than them. Jordan B. Peterson calls the church to action, very much so just for that. But I'm calling you to action to discern these videos and such so that you don't get drawn into these weird cultish-like teachings that Gnosticism provides. It's this whole idea of providing the truth or a bit of food, but poisoning it just a little, and the little bit of poison is going to kill you. It's an old saying that we had in seminary. It's not the big piece of poison that's going to kill you. It's the little bit that's laced in the truth. This is an old teaching. You can also find that kind of concept in communications. Ooh, man, I winked. That's weird. In communications, where, for example, Hitler used a little bit of truth to poison the whole nation, right? It's the little lie that's couched in a whole bunch of what's going on that becomes believable. Something to be careful. If we were going to talk politics, we would roundabout back to that. Let's go back to Gnosticism and how it's cultish, right? For instance, it says Jesus is a spiritual guide, and you can find other spiritual guides such as saints or nature. You can channel the Christ consciousness. That's a big, huge, gigantic Gnosticism thing. It's also found in a lot about that is found in and around New Age thinking and parapsychology, in the weird space, fringe science. Let's put it in fringe science. Christ consciousness is in fringe science. Looking to ascend to a higher biblical self. Man, I keep looking that way. You know what's that way? Let me tell you. What's that way is my computer, and I see myself moving as somebody who watches things as a historian. I have a tendency to move towards movement, and my movement is drawing me towards that. So if you ever see me continually, I'll figure this out, and we'll fix this sooner or later. But that's why I keep looking that way. My setup is right over here off camera. All right. Let's take a look at another verse to help us out. 1 John 4, 1 through 3. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether or not they are from God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus has come in the flesh is from God, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. So that's in John, specifically addressing this whole concept that Gnosticism brought about Jesus not being of the flesh, not being fully man, and that even his crucifixion was like a hoaxy thing. It wasn't him. It was some other sort of being. So let's hotspot, right? Hotspot. and how to avoid Gnostic influencers, because there's a lot. I have a friend who watches Gnostic influencers on TikTok. I have to continue to say, hey man, that is not theologically sound. It has no grounding in biblical or Hebrew historical culture or text or Christian text or the old fathers. This is hogwash and hooey, right? It's snake oil. So red flags. What are we looking for? Here's my list. Claims of secret knowledge, dismissal of scripture as too basic, the denial of Jesus' humanity or his divinity. He's a great teacher, but he's not the Son of God. He is not God in flesh. In 14:6, the Bible responds, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No secrets, no mystical rituals, just Jesus. Pretty simple, right? So, Gnosticism thrives on confusion or the desire or to be special or to be set aside, and everybody is special and set aside. Not one human is alike. You might look similar to somebody in the past. I mean, man, have you seen those historical pictures? But let me tell you, you are one of a kind, right? I think that God created snowflakes to show that if he could create raindrops and snowflakes that are one of a kind every time, he can do that with humanity. And that everybody has something to bring it to the table and to enrich everybody's life and to find joy. Truly, really heartfelt believe that everybody is the hero of their own story on this journey. Final thought. I have mine written down. You should have yours. Next time you see a YouTube video claiming to reveal the real Jesus, ask, does this match what John has already revealed 2,000 years ago? If not, feel free to click away. On the other hand, if you want to know about that nonsense, I'm not going to try to tell you not to. I believe if you tell someone not to, they're going to do it anyways. But if you are, hold it against the word, check old church fathers, see if it's been addressed in Gnostic teachings. And there's plenty of fellow YouTubers and influencers out there that address the text, the age of the text, where that comes from. I promise you, if you look on YouTube, you will find somebody addressing that nonsense. There's some very strong, I want to say, ancient text theologians out there. I'm a theology and culture theologian, but they're better at me when it comes to ancient texts that I recommend. I also recommend that I mentioned the Y-Files earlier. I'm going to shoot them a thumbs up and say they're really good at bringing this stuff to the forefront and then taking it apart in a logical, textual basis to make sure that you're not falling for the cons that are out there. They spend a lot of time, energy, and Patreon money making sure they do that. So if you want to go in that direction, I'll push you towards that channel. If you want to see what's going on with the church, check my buddy Josh Simone's Torn Curtain here on YouTube and other fine places. So what I do recommend is to pour yourself another cup of tea. Woo, and I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, leave a good comment. Thanks for visiting the Parliament. If you want to know about Gravitas coaching, please visit gravitas.co. It's also where we host the Parliament. Join the conversation on Facebook at the Parliament Raven Podcast. Last but not least, the intro and outro music credits. Intro music by Russ Budgeon and outro music by Sardav Aravistov.